Hey everyone, Assalamu alaikum. This is me, Manahal Umar Jawali. I'm a student of Nahan School, Kuringi campus. So today we have David. So David is leading expert in AI integration and the author of How to Think with the AI, with a diverse career spanning engineering, business development, and cutting edge AI projects. So David is at the forefront of human AI collaboration. His work redefines how we can harness AI to enhance human creativity and decision making. Today, he shares his groundbreaking insights on shaping the future of human cognition in AI driving world. So, without further ado, let's welcome our guest and learn something new with him. So, welcome to the show. How are you?
Very good. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to me also. So, before moving on questions, can you please introduce yourself for my viewers?
All right. Well, my name is David Bullock, and I am based here in the United States. And you're right, I'm the author of How to Think with AI. But before that, I actually worked in robotics. I worked in manufacturing production with DuPont here in the United States, as well as GM. I worked with, like I said, Fanuc Robotics, and have been in the database as well as computing, as well as manufacturing. I left that space about 20 years ago. And then I went into the entrepreneurial space. And one of my last projects is that we actually built a portion of the internet between New York and New Jersey, which actually supports the AI initiative as far as the infrastructure is concerned. We call it the fourth industrial revolution, where you have, VR, AR, 5G, ubiquitous computing, all the things we're doing there as far as the Internet of Things. So it was a natural turn for me to go from all that foundational work to then working with the actual AI tools that come online recently, like ChatGPT, Claude, and the large language models. So that's how we got here.
All right, that's really fantastic introduction. Thank you so much for your answer. So, I'm just wondering that
Yes.
what motivates you to write how to think with AI? Was there a particular experience or moment that made you realize the importance of this symbiotic relationship between AI and human cognition?
Well, like I said, I worked with robots for the better part of 10 years, from like 1993 until 2004. So I was working directly with robots, but they weren't very smart. There was the one robot that was the mechanical unit, and there was the other piece of the robot that was the brains. So now, having that experience, when this new model came in place where you could basically just type or speak into this black box, and it would move as though it had some level of intelligence. So the first thing I did with it is my aha moment to speak to was I programmed a plugin for a trading program for the stock market. And I am not a programmer with that particular language, but I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted it to do. And I was able to program in a language that I had never used before to create this plugin. And it actually worked. It told me when the market went up or down. And I was like, wait a minute, this is a new capability. And so in that moment, I knew that, if if you were the subject matter expert and you could specify exactly what you wanted the machine to create from the AI standpoint, you could get it to do miraculous things. But the key was to open your mind up, because thinking is the undercut of the tools. So you have tools, techniques, you have the stuff that you use, but a lot of times if you actually sharpen the user and get them to think better, then they can use the tools in a more profound way. So that's what started with this How to Think with AI conversation. And then that was part one. Part two, my niece, who actually works as a project manager in the IT space, in the medical space locally here in the city, she says, Uncle, we don't know how to think with this. And I was intrigued by the idea. How can you be an IT professional? How can you be setting up these things in the technology space, but this is a new tool and you don't know how to think with it? And so spawned the How to Think with AI.com URL got bought. And I really started to dive into how are people thinking about this? Because our training now is very different. Social media has us thinking in very short sound bites and shorts and that type of thing. The media has us distracted a lot, and people, I think, really have lost the skill of critical thinking, long term thinking, strategic planning. And so I figured there was no book on how to think, so we wrote it. That's where it came from.
All right, that's amazing. Thank you so much for your answer. That's really fantastic and inspiring. Thank you so much for your answer. So, how do you envision the future of human cognition evolving with the integration of AI? What specific aspect of human thinking do you believe will be most enhanced by AI collaboration?
Well, to answer your first question, how do I envision the future of it? Well, we have to develop a relationship with the tool. This tool, okay, it gives the idea, it mimics intelligence. It's really it's pattern recognition, and it's looking at how words fit together, and it's looking for conversational language to pull back or to fetch you or to construct any of the things you're asking it to do. So that being the case, you have to first realize that you are the driver or the conductor. You're the director of this particular ship called you as the user in this AI tool that has access to more information that you could ever have access to in a lifetime. So that symbiotic relationship is really predicated on curiosity. What do I want this to do? What don't I know? And where are my blind spots where this tool can help me do more, see more, and actually, again, not think, I will say think better, but think differently. Meaning, you can ask a question and you can get one level of answer, but if you're actually the subject matter expert, you have to screen the output. So you have to be in a position where you can say, that was a good answer, but that may be the best answer for the application, which now allows someone to become a strategic thinker looking at outcomes as opposed to a tactical thinker who's just looking at, oh, I got it done. And right now, what I'm seeing is there's a lot of information about office automation, which isn't the highest and best use of the AI tools. How to set up a calendar, read my email, set up a calendar event, create my content. Okay, that's nice. That's office automation. That allows someone to free up their time so that they can do something of more value. So to now leading to your next question, where it really gets interesting is when you're using AI to not only free up time, but to free up so you not having to think about those things that are easy to think about, those things that are easy to automate. Because you can automate with machines, you can automate with people, or you can automate with software, right? In this case, we're now at the part where you're automating software, but now it's bleeding into where that software with the AI tied with them with robots are now coming to the marketplace. Now you're really starting to, you're automating with machines, software, and people. And now we all have to work together to stay in our particular roles.
All right, great. Thank you so much for your answer. So, how do you see AI transforming everyday decision making for ordinary people? Can you provide some example where AI can significantly improve personal or professional decision making?
Absolutely. One of the things that we found out is as business owners is that a business owner or most people never have enough information to make a really good decision, never have enough time to make a good situation to make it make sense. With AI, at least you can go and get all the information pulled towards you. So if you have a problem, like something as simple as what can I make for dinner with what I have in the refrigerator? That's a very mundane experience for most people. But with AI now, you can take a picture of what ingredients you have in the refrigerator, and instead of you having to think of it, it gives you all those options. Because again, it has the capacity to check recipes that you may not have thought of or imagined. Look at what you have as far as resources, and then pull those back for you in a way that makes sense. So now it actually the time of you having to think about what can I make? Well, it's going to bring you 10 things. Now you just choose what you're going to do with what you have and the resources available. So for an everyday person, it will cut the time out of trying to figure out what to bring forward, gathering the information, and then making a decision. So again, just the part of formulating the problem is no longer the issue. It's like, I have this stuff and I want to do this over here. Give me my shortest path to that outcome. And AI can help with that because, again, it has access to more information, access to a great many recipes, formulas, and layouts, and just pulls those in to give the person more time to actually do the things that are important to them.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Thank you so much for your answer. So, what are the most exciting developments in AI that you are currently keeping an eye on? How do you think they will impact the way we think and interact with technology in the next decade?
Well, what's happening right now, which I find extremely interesting, is AI is actually getting, it's reasoning. You can actually watch it reason. So instead of just giving you an answer, it tells you how it arrived at that answer. That's great. So at least you can see how it is pulling together and assembling the information. That's one thing I find exciting. With Llama, I think it's 3.2, which just was put out by Meta, which is an open source AI. Now people have an opportunity to actually install it themselves, and it's open source, which now you get, it's not closed box, which now people are able to now use it and create it and get it to change differently. Just like when we were using Linux and Unix, all those came out of the open source experience. That now allows the people to put their own innovation in the actual tools and coding and actually make it better and iterate on the fly. That those two pieces right there, just allowing the masses to actually participate in the development, I think that's going to help a lot as far as the usage thereof.
Yep, bro. Thank you so much for your answer. So, as an AI strategist, what are the most common misconceptions you encounter among business leaders about AI? How do you address misconceptions?
Well, one of the things that a lot of them think when I speak to them is that, okay, this is going to eliminate people just completely. This is the best thing in the world because I can get rid of my programmers. I can get rid of my customer service people. I can just get rid of people completely. And a business owner is looking at cost cutting. Now, that is the fear in the marketplace from the people who are actually doing those jobs. Now, don't get me wrong. Some positions are being severely impacted because of the implementation of AI. But most business owners, like I said, are in a position that they a lot of times don't know enough about it and what it can do because again, there's a lot of media buzz about what it is and how it works and what it can do, and they don't have the practical experience because they haven't played with it and haven't used it in a great many experiences in different segments. We've used it now in programming, in copywriting, in marketing, decision making, business planning, market planning, and that type of thing, as well as research and development. Okay. When you start to get a breadth of understanding as to how it can enhance the human that is doing the work and make them more productive, then the business owner can pull back and say, now that we're using this way with the people who are bringing the innovation and the thinking, now it's a competitive advantage. It's not just a cost cutting measure, but it's for you to be able to implement faster and test faster with less cost. And I think there's a little bit of a paradigm shift now that needs to go on because with any new technology, like when no, better yet, when the internet came online, it was a paradigm shift. When computers came into the business space, it was a paradigm shift. When cell phones came into the space, it was a paradigm shift. This too is another paradigm shift. And we don't know what it's going to do because this one's a little bit different because this one actually speaks back to us. So therefore, we have to change our thinking and move accordingly. And so again, I think it's going to be a little bit of graduation from task orientation to actually strategic orientation is going to get us over the hump and get us where we need to go.
All right, thank you so much sir, for explaining your answer. So, you have a diverse background from working in robotics to social media and AI. So, how have your previous experience influenced your perspective on AI potential to augment human capabilities?
Oh, well, because I've worked in all those different places, my perspective is different. I worked in as an engineer and I worked as a programmer. So I actually know those spaces. It's not like I have to go figure it out. I've done those things. I worked as a manager, as a supervisor. I worked in manufacturing production. I've supervised people. I've been a project manager, engineer. All those things, it allows me to have what I call subject matter expertise. So it's not like I have to go look it up or vicariously think or hope. I know what the person in that position, what I won't say what they're thinking, but what they'll encounter in that particular job. And because of that, I can bring that to the fore. Now, if you take that when I was in corporate, that was in 2000 up into 2004. So for last 20 years, I've been out of that space. And I watched the evolution of social media, the internet, e-commerce, robotics, and now AI. And because I have that breath from the very beginning and now, I'm able to go back and say, oh, what you're going to encounter when you're using AI and this particular application is this, or you can use it this way. And again, in the ground, you know, in the actual trenches experience helps me to be able to bridge the gaps between one language modality, meaning marketing has a language that's very different than sales. And sales has a very different thinking and language experience than someone who's a technician or programmer. Because I've been in all of those spaces, I have the language and I can translate from one aspect or one department to another. So I think that's what has influenced me to then write the book, which is the undercut about how do you think about it.
Okay, all right. So, in your book, you talk about the cognitive cyborg mindset. So, can you elaborate what this means and how individuals and organizations can cultivate the mind?
Absolutely. When we talk about the cognitive cyborg mindset, you typically think about a machine being grafted onto you, like they're going to put a tube in your head and you're going to have a computer strapped to your arm. That's not the case. It's a situation where you can form a relationship, so to speak, with the tools that you're using. Just like like if you were a crafts person, you have your tools, your hammers, your chisels, and whatnot. You form a relationship with the tool. You know what it's going to do. And you also know that the tools, the materials that you use, and what you're going to create, they all have a particular personality. Just like if you were a cook. If you were a cook, if you really get some really good food, that means that the cook really put love into it and they understood the ingredients and how they work together. And they may even have an understanding of the palate of the person that they're dealing with. You can now form symbolically the same type of relationship with the AI tool that you're using. Okay, you can tune it that way, meaning this is how I think, this is my task I'm trying to handle. These are my resources. Here's my tools. You can tune and train the tools so they work with you and for you to make your life easier, to make it faster, to actually innovate, because you're bringing forward, again, you have access to more data than you would have ordinarily. You can't read that fast. You can't watch a movie that quickly, but you can say, I have this idea. Go bring me the bleeding edge, cutting edge information on that. Bring it to me. Thank you. Summarize it. Good. Give me the themes for this. Give me the tenets for that. And from there, you're taking things in, bringing them in rapidly, absorbing the information, breaking them into pieces, delving in as deeply as you want to go into pieces that are interesting and are useful. Now you're moving with cognition speed as though you're with a supercomputer. But you as the conductor, you're driving this show. And that's really what it is. You are working with the computer with a natural language model, meaning if you can type or now you can speak into the AI as input, you can get the output that you want. You can inspect it. Then you can augment that and take it as far as that you want to go down the rabbit hole until you get the output or result that you want. That's really what we're talking about cultivating here. Now, in the book, we have some things that actually help you to think differently because as humans, we're creatures of habit. We think a certain way over and over and over again because we like tomorrow to be like yesterday, to be like today. That's how we move. But if we turn around and we actually break some of those habitual thinking patterns, we can actually innovate and use AI differently for the tasks which are in front of us. And again, it may not be doing something different, it may be doing something differently. And from there, innovation comes. And that's what this is all about.
All right, phenomenal answer. Thank you so much for your fantastic answer. So, what are some practical steps that individuals can take today to start leveraging AI to enhance their creative thinking and problem solving abilities?
Okay. Well, the first thing to do is if you haven't started using it, start. That's the first piece. And again, there's something called prompt engineering, which has become very popular. The way AI is now, you can actually ask it to help you figure out what it is you're trying to figure out. So you don't have to know everything. You just have to know where to start. So once you actually get into one of the tools, whether it be Gemini or Llama or ChatGPT or Claude across the different platforms, the goal is to say, I have a problem. The question is, do you know enough about that problem to begin to dissect it to get the result that you want from the situation or resolve it, so to speak? So the goal is to say, hey, AI, whatever tool you're using, this is what I'm looking at. And it's going to say, okay, now that we know what we're looking at, what is it that you want to do or what's the output of that? And that's where the dialogue begins. It's not about actually having one set prompt that's going to give you all the answers to the world. No, it's about you being curious enough to learn with the data coming to you to guide you to get you to where you want to be. Now, your expertise in the subject and your ability to see what's there is your most important tool that you can have to cultivate. Seeing what's there, not what you want to see and not what someone told you you're looking at, but what is it really? Because a lot of times the blinders that we have is what gets in the way of us solving the problems that are in front of us. So a lot of times it's not the problem will disappear if you can change your perspective on it or you can change your thinking about how to tackle the actual situation to a resolution. So I hope that that gives people an answer. It start with where you are, see where you want to be, see what the obstacles are, feed them in, get all the data coming towards you, and you'll know when you're getting closer because you iterate there. It's not a one stop and then you're done. Like you ask, hey, AI, create this for, I'm going to give you the answer. No, no, no. It's an iterative process where you are learning and it's bringing things back to you. And you're like, but what about this? It will help you think not only better, but your critical thinking skills will come online to be able to see what's true for you, what's true in the real world, what will work, and what's just really going down a rabbit hole that's not going to get you anywhere quickly.
Okay, all right. So, what advice would you give to young professionals or students who are just beginning to explore the field of AI, and how can they stay ahead and contribute meaningful to the future of AI?
Okay. Well, first thing is to start playing with it, but really start learning how to, again, think with it. That's one thing. Now, if you want to go further into it, you pick up Python because that's one of the coding languages that's used there. There are plenty of certifications available and courses available both on YouTube through the major corporations that will allow you to get in front of understanding not just what it is, but how it works. When you understand actually how it works from a neural net standpoint, we understand the programming aspects, the coding aspects, well, that gives you a leg up on the people who are just using it. Because when you know how it works, you can now start to see why it works. And then you have a leverageable tool. So again, you can use the tools better when you have practice with it, when you know the fundamentals of it. But again, going back to where can this be used for the future? Like if you're a student there, I would ask AI, what trends do you see coming? Robotics is a very real thing. Okay. Office automation is a very real thing. Right now, there's a lot of push towards marketing and office automation. But what's beyond that? Because soon that place will be handled. Well, what's next? Look, and I would say blue sky it, meaning if you could do anything and time or money was no object, what would you build? If you asked AI, what would you build? Like feeding your current interest, your resume, what you're interested in, and feed it in there. This is called tuning the AI engine. When you feed it your information and tell it what you're looking for, your resume, your interests, the skill sets you already have, the experiences that you already have, and you say now, go cutting edge and bleeding edge. Where can this be used? It will actually come back and say, oh, based on what you have told me about you, here are all the things that you may be interested in, and maybe something you might find interesting for job opportunities or places for employment or entrepreneurship, which is even more important in the future. So again, it's a matter of getting out of your own way, feeding it the inputs, asking it for the very specific outputs that you want, and then literally playing the game with it and iterating back and forth until it gives you the answers that you want. Because at the end of the day, if it gives you the answers that you want and you're motivated, you will take the appropriate action outside of the AI, outside of the computer, in the real world with people. Because only after you get out here with people and you network and you talk to and have the interviews and have the conversations can anything happen out here. See, because AI is in the computer, but only out here do things get done. Only out here can employment be had. Only out here innovation and entrepreneurship actually become a real thing in the real world. So let's not get caught into where we're going to type into the computer and something magical is going to happen. No, only after you type into the computer, get the plan, understand the strategic implementation of it, understand what tactics have to be done, the timing that has to be done. Only at that point can you, as a student or anyone, move forward with any level of speed into something that is actual and real that will benefit you as a human.
All right, thank you so much for your answer. So, is there anything you want to ask me?
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for that. How you are doing this is fantastic. I want to say this. This is really interesting. Where did you come up with this idea?
About? I'm sorry. What are you asking?
I asked, where did you come up with this idea? Because this is fantastic.
To ask you?
No, oh, wait a minute. You're asking me what you should ask me.
No,
I thought you were
I'm
asking what I could
asking.
ask you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm asking. Is there anything you want to ask me?
Yes, what I wanted to ask you is where did you come up with this idea? I know Rehan, and he turned me and he introduced me to you. But where did you come up with this idea? You were so poised at such a young age. I think it's fascinating.
Okay, are you asking me to how the idea comes to me that taking interviews with people all
Yes.
around the world?
Yes.
Okay, taking interviews is my school subject. As you know, my school is all about AI, and my school is AI based school. So we are learning AI and many things. And so one of the subject is taking interviews, connect with people all around the world, and learn from them. So that's why I take peoples with them. I take interviews with them and learn from them.
You are going to meet a lot of people and get a lot of good information. Well done. This is
Yeah.
I wish I'd had this idea when I was your age. I would be further along in life. That's good, very good.
Yeah, I have conducted 400 plus 450 plus interviews,
Wow.
and that my experience was so amazing with people and learning from them. It's amazing.
Wow. Well, again, 400 some interviews. Wow. Well done.
Yeah.
And you know what I found is I've been in the media before, so TED Talks and speaking on stage. Um, you just having this platform allows it because you have the platform, people want to talk to you. It's the most interesting thing. Like you say, hey, I would do an interview with you. Oh, sure. And then you meet these people. So it's very interesting. Very interesting, your platform.
Yeah, I when I just started to take interviews, so I didn't speak English. So I learned speak English with interviews, and when I start my interviews, my first interviews was like, I was like, what she's saying, I don't understand. But after some interviews, I realized that, oh, now I understand English. Now my English is good, and I can understand and I can speak.
Perfect. No, you are a wonderful testament. Just like we were talking about early on learning, you weren't afraid to learn something new, learning a new language, getting to other people, meeting people all over the world, learning how to use StreamYard, get you your graphics. Amazing. You are the exact example of how you can use technology and it actually unites people around the world as opposed to divide them. So thank you for the example. This is something which is very interesting, and thank you for the experience.
Yeah, as you talk about ChatGPT, Claude, so we complete our tasks from ChatGPT, and we have books coding with AI. So we make games on Claude, and like we make games and make calculators. I have made calculator on Claude AI, and I have made calculator games, some games on uh, Claude, and I also use ChatGPT every day. Like we have requirements in our school to use ChatGPT 5 times a day.
Hmm. Okay,
Yeah,
right. So, like I said, the goal is to use it. If you use it, you'll know how to use it. And I mean, it's right on the phone. It's right there. And as long as it's right there, it's like I was telling one of my colleagues yesterday. I said, I don't have to think as hard anymore. Like if I want to think something, it's like, oh, help me think with that. And the question is now, my thinking is more along the lines of critical thinking as opposed to having to think, if that makes sense. I can develop the framework for what I want and then let the tools help me to get further down the line than I would have gotten if it was just me with a calculator, with a pencil and paper. Don't get me wrong, that's sometimes very necessary for communication because you still have to deal with people. And as long as you, and again, you've done a great job with your communication skill. Um, that's one thing that I'm noticing that a lot of the young people are missing. They don't know how to look someone in the eye, communicate, read, write, draw. We're losing some of those skills for basic communication, and we're losing them because I call it brain rot. People will rely too much on some of these tools and not think that they don't know how to read, they don't know how to write, they don't know how to communicate, and they're relying on a tool to do it. You still need to have the basic tools to be able to make this tool a leveraging and a competitive advantage. So again, the mix or the balance is something which is very important. So yeah, this is good. Thank you so much for this interview. You're actually the first interview I've done since we published the book. So thank you so much.
oh my god, that's wonderful. Thank you for giving me your precious time.
Of course, of course. Yep. So
So
yeah, so go ahead.
yeah, yeah, what are you saying?
No, I was just saying Rahan and I met. Wow, I can't even remember when it was. 2012 maybe. So I've known him for a very very long time, and we met and we've kept in touch over the years. So great guy, and the work he does is phenomenal. And I always say, Ron, let me know what I can do to help, and we'll uh
Yeah, he
we'll
is
keep
watching
moving.
us.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. Rahan, thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure.
So how do you think? Is there like we need to use ChatGPT every day, or like students need to use it?
Um, I mean, yes, I use it every day. So I'm thinking, yes. But see, the thing is, you're using AI or something with AI components in it at any given time. So if you're typing and you're doing autocorrect, that's AI. If you're going on YouTube and it's bringing you back something from an algorithm, that's in form of AI. So we are in an AI world right now. That's the thing that's very interesting. All right. We just don't know it. Chat GPT, Llama, um, Claude, Gemini, they're just AI out front. AI has been in the back of a lot of the things that we've been doing for forever. Now, consciously using AI, meaning using it for to help you navigate somewhere, get yourself out of a problem, develop a recipe, develop a plan. That is a very conscious way of using AI. So yes, anytime I have to catch myself now because sometimes I'll find myself starting to do something that I could get AI to help me with, and I'm already down the road doing it, and I'm like, like I woke up one morning, very practical application. I needed to do a proposal for one of the businesses I was working with. And I said, man, I have to write this. I mean, I woke up that morning knowing it was going to take me several hours to pull together all the information, get it right, format it, put it all together. And I remembered, wait a minute, I have a tool that can help me with that. Took 40 minutes, right? Totally, as opposed to 4 hours. And that was the moment when I realized that I have to get out of my own way when I know something's going to take me time to do. Well, get AI, pull it toward me. I'm going to edit it, make sure it looks right, sounds right, the output is right. But I find myself remembering, I could have used AI to help me with that, but I forgot that AI was available and could help me with that. I mean, AI now is in a situation that can help you tune a guitar, recipes, making a business decision, writing your content in your own voice, images, artwork, any communication that you want. AI can help you do so much more by yourself. So soon you'll be a company of one, meaning it can do the content, handle the dissemination of the content, do the editing, both audio and visual editing, you create the shorts, push it out to the social media networks. Great. Now you're sitting with the client. Well, we need new ideas. Brainstorm with the client, put together the proposal, figure out the tactical and the implementation plan. It can help you think, but you have to be thinking first. And I think that's the part that I really want to stress. You have to really know your craft to be enhanced in the craft. So whatever skill set you're learning to do, whether it be a singer, songwriter, poet, musician, coder, business owner, whatever it is, learn your craft first, and also learn soft skills like people skills, because AI cannot help you if you cannot communicate outwardly from the computer. You have to be able to actually connect with people, because it is health, wealth, and relationships. Um, your relationship with people is going to be the thing that's going to help you, you know, to have good health and to develop wealth. And AI can help you to actually be smarter in your business dealings and be smarter with things that you're doing. And that's what this is all about. Again, nothing to be afraid of. Use it, integrate it, learn how to use it better, and let it take you where you're trying to go. But you have to know where you're trying to go so that you can actually get there.
Yes, absolutely right. So, have you used ChatGPT new feature? Voice?
Oh yeah, it's very
How was
interesting.
your experience?
The part I liked about it the most was that it showed me how it was thinking about what it was thinking about. Like you click the button and it says, "Oh, that's what it's doing." Now, the voice piece was the piece I was most excited about, because I have a disconnect between my thinking and typing. Like I lose something, right? I lose. So for me to be able to say, okay, I need 14 different examples of X. Good. Read that back to me. Good. Give me 50 more. Adjust this. And it takes my audio input and really moves. Because again, I speak faster than I type. And for me, there's always been a disconnect between my thinking and typing. I lose something. There was a tool many years ago called Dragon Naturally Speaking. I loved it because I could tell my computer, do this, do that, or I could speak into it and it would transcribe my spoken language into text. That tool, I won't say is obsolete, but that was some of the first um, audio to text input that I'd use, and it just made things so much easier. Now with the new features now with ChatGPT, where you can speak into it and it can talk back to you, now it's a real conversation, and I'm not losing the disconnect between what I think and typing. Because when you're typing, at least for me, I spelled that wrong, or I didn't get that right, and I'm editing back and forth. When I just speak it and I say, look, I had this idea. I'm trying to do X, Y, Z. These are the resources that I have. I have 45 minutes to do it. Here are my parameters. Now flesh this out and give me some possibilities. And it spits back a plan or a tool. And then I'm like, oh, bring me the tools I need for that. Thank you. Give me a full timeline. I need a budget for that also. I like it. Yes, that new feature was. And now here's the other thing. You can probably tell I got excited. The other piece that I really enjoy is there's other third party tools, and they don't come off the top of my head right now, where the audio processing has become so refined that you could speak something into it. She's like, look, I have an appointment at 2 o'clock. Oh, no, 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 wait a minute. It's at 4 o'clock. And it goes back and fixes it. It's yes, that feature. That one is incredible because now you are interfacing with the machine fluidly. And you can tell it, don't be lazy, do this. You forgot the time and date stamp there. Can you add that, please? And integrate this part to that part. And boom, now you have your output. That is now like if you ever looked at Star Trek, where it says computer, create this. We're entering into that type of situation where you speak. It's almost like abracadabra, like a genie. Genie, I have a wish, and the genie brings it forward. That is what it's becoming now. But the
Yeah.
question is, how big can you dream? How big can you? What is your wish? Because your wish is just as good as you can verbalize it. You can think it first, verbalize it, give it input, and now that I can do it via voice. Oh, I love it. Oh, it's great. So
Yeah, also she gave us answers like very politely. I think, like Sarhan was also saying that some people can also fall in love with her.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is
I've had that
amazing.
conversation. um, Here's what was so funny because I worked with robots for so long. Machines are machines, computers are computers. They're always. I'm not. But if you haven't had the opportunity to work with a machine user interface like I have for so long, it is easy to develop a relationship with with the output. Oh, Dave, if it is call you by name. Oh, certainly. It's very polite. Oh, certainly. Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake there. Let me go back and correct that. Is that better? It is very polite and you can develop a relationship. But I remember that it is a machine. And it is using semantics and pattern recognition to speak a certain way. Um, but it's becoming very easy, especially with some of the newer developments with the AI, as you've seen these AI boyfriends and girlfriends. So that the age of catfishing has gone to a different level now. It's going to different levels of experience. So as the user, you again have to pull back and say, is this human? Is this real? How can I be the conductor of this? How can I be the user for this? How do I make this work? But again, the user has to think differently to not get lulled into a sense of something that it's not. That's where it gets dangerous. Because this idea of I fell in love with her, there was a whole movie about that, or I fell in love with this disembodied voice that spoke to me a certain way. Okay, remember that you're the human and that's a machine and use it accordingly. It's a tool. Use it as such. You know.
Yep, right. So thank you so much, David. This conversation has been a roller coaster of insights and emotions, from redefining what it means to think with AI to imagining a future where we are all cognitive cyborg. You've blown our minds and filled our hearts with excitement of what's to come. It's not like every day get to chat with someone who makes you feel like you are in a sci-fi movie, while also giving you practical tip to use tomorrow. We are inspired a little, intimidated by how smart you are,
Oh
and
wow.
mostly just thrilled that you are out there leading the charge. So, thank you for sharing your brilliance and humor with us. It's been a wild, wonderful ride.
Thank you so much for having me. And again, thank you, Rahan, my friend, for having me and connecting me here. You are doing a fabulous job. Please keep up the good work, and I'll be keeping my eye on you to see the great things you'll be doing in the future. Thank you so much for your time. This has been great.
Thank you for your time. Bye.
Bye bye.